Good morning, friends. Anne here, got my cup of coffee, got the Word of God, and today's reading is from Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verses 9 through 15. Right before this passage, we read this whole list of seasons, that there's a time to plant and a time to uproot, a time to be born and a time to die, that there are all of these seasons that are mentioned in this passage. And then the author of Ecclesiastes, the teacher who is talking here, says this in verse 9. What does the worker gain from his toil? I have seen the burden God has laid on men. He has made everything beautiful in its time. He has also set eternity in the hearts of men, yet they cannot fathom what God has done from beginning to end. I know that there is nothing better for men than to be happy and do good while they live, that everyone may eat and drink and find satisfaction in all his toil. This is the gift of God. I know that everything God does will endure forever. Nothing can be added to it and nothing taken from it. God does it so that men will revere him. Whatever is has already been, and whatever will be has been before, and God will call the past to account. Friends, in this passage, the teacher is reflecting on all of these seasons. And I know that many of us have been in seasons of our lives where we're thinking, God, when will this season end? Do you see me going through this time of uprooting? Or do you see me going through this time of throwing away and giving up? Do you see me going through this time of planting where it just seems like work after work after work? Friends, sometimes we go through seasons and we think that maybe God has forgotten us in that season. Here, the teacher lets us know that God's nature is eternal. The way that he views our seasons is different than the way that we view our seasons when we are going through them. Notice he says in verse 11, he has made everything beautiful in its time. Friends, there will be time for each season to come to an end. Even in difficult seasons, there is a necessity for difficult seasons to happen so that new things can be born. And it is in God's time that he allows us to move through these seasons. But he also points out that God's time is not like our time. It says this, he has also set eternity in the hearts of men, yet they cannot fathom what God has done from beginning to end. Friends, God is eternal. In him there is no beginning and there is no end, and he has set that eternity in our hearts. We are meant to live with him forever, but we don't get it. We don't understand it. We can't fathom it. Friends, I think it's important for us to know that God sees our seasons through the lens of eternity. He goes on to say in 14, I know that everything God does will endure forever. He points out God is eternal, and I know that he is acting in light of eternity. But why does he do that? Why does God work on his eternal time frame and not my temporary time frame? It says this in the next part of that verse. God does it so that men will revere him. Friends, when we go through difficult seasons and seasons that continue to linger on, that continue to just make us feel like we are languishing, that nobody is seeing what we're going through, that is a time for us to trust in God's eternal perspective. And it is a time for us to learn to depend on God, to revere him, to respect him in a new way. God is not absent in your season of difficulty. He is there and he cares. Remember that God sees our seasons through the light of eternity. Have a good day.